now we're going to talk about a resident cannot make a payment. So they're saying they don't see the option to make a payment on their portal, or they don't see the option on an application portal. If there's not a button to enter in payment information, it's likely something to do with the setup and the settings of your account. So this is a common issue we run into on the front end of setup, and then likely down the road when leases start to expire. So I'll show you kind of the key settings to look at for there. So in the initial setup of e-payments, if you've got your account set up and you're ready to go, and someone in a particular unit or lease is saying they don't see the option to make a payment, the first thing to check is to come to unit and leases and find the property that they're living in. So let's say we've got a tenant on Avondale Road that's saying they can't submit payments, and you're getting payments from other properties. It's likely an issue that this payment is not linked to this property is not linked properly. So what you would do is click on edit this property, and then down here you'll see the accounting overrides, and it'll have a drop down menu to select, and in your database you'll be able to choose which accounting file is linked to this property. So you always want to make sure you've got, especially if you've got multiple accounting files and multiple e-payment accounts, each accounting file has to have an e-payment account in order to process payments. So down here you'll want to check, and you'll look and see, okay, it's linked. Drop down menu, you'll choose your accounting file, and then you'll hit okay, and then you'll know, okay, that is set up for that. Then once you've chosen the accounting file, it's good to go ahead and double check that the setting on the accounting file as well. So here on the accounting file, you'll see the name of your accounting file. This is just operations primary. And if it's linked to an e-payment account, you will see the name of that e-payment account under primary. So that is good to know. And you can change that if you go to GL e-payment account mapping, and you'll see just the bank account setup that it's mapped to. You'll want to make sure that's checked. Your checking account is selected there. And then down here, this is where your e-payment account. So if you've got multiple e-payment accounts and multiple accounting files, you can open up each accounting file, click on this mapping button, and then choose the drop down. Since we've got primary here, it's chosen. Okay, now you know that any property linked to this accounting file has access to that primary e-payment account. Had we not linked it, none of the properties linked to this accounting file know what e-payment account to use. So now, majority of the time, that's the reason the make payment option would not be showing up for that particular property. Anyone in that property wouldn't see it because it didn't know. Once you update this on your database and click close out, it'll sync with the servers, and they'll be able to then go through and see that make a payment option. Now there's another setting down here in the e-payments as well. You'll want to check and make sure, we'll look at the primary and just make sure that the right schedules are set up. So with payments in the portal, you'll want to make sure there's a schedule active, and you're allowing payments through the web portal needs to be checked. So that's a kind of another thing. Usually in setup, I'll make sure that's set up for you. But if for some reason that got unchecked, that could be causing the issue as well. You want to make sure that's checked, and then that you've got a schedule. If you've got a not set up here for one-time payments on the web portal, they're not going to be able to see it, and they're not going to be able to submit a payment because there's no schedule to use. So it's not going to know how to charge them. So schedules are something that you can customize and give you the functionality of absorbing or pushing the fees differently than you would for prospect payments, for owner payments, for resident payments. But as you see, this you can confirm here, as long as there's a schedule there, you're good. You just want to make sure it's not set up. You want to pick a schedule and set up. And then clicking set up, all that does is just give you a chance to change whether you absorb the fee or push the fee. So once you've confirmed all that, at that point, they should be good to go and see their make a payment button on their register. Now, if you've done all that and they're still having issues, or it's a one-off, most people in that property can pay and others can't, then it's important. It's most likely a lease issue. So with the payments, there's so many days that you can post a payment before or after a lease. And with as you can see here on this, again, we're still just on the setup preferences, e-payments, and days to post payments early. So that is the number of days you can post the payment. So let's click on one here, and let's see. So that will allow you to post prior to a lease, and you'll want to let us know that setting, because we've got settings on the server side too. So if you want someone to make a payment before their lease is active, you'll have to let us know as well. As far as putting it in here, you'll want to let us know that you want payments 30 days beforehand, 45 days beforehand, because on our system, it's typically default 30 days will always be approved. But if someone's trying to make a security deposit payment or something further out than 30 days, you would have to submit a help desk ticket to get that setting changed on our end. Now, after lease ends, you have control over that from within the e-payment account. So it's on a per e-payment account basis, and it's going to be this setting here right in the middle. Days to allow web payment after lease ends. So that's on 0. So if their lease ends and they still have a balance and they're going to be making payments after the lease, you'll want to bump this out to, if it's 30 days, 45 days, whatever that may be. And then that will allow that make a payment button to show back up on their register. Because what's going to happen when they log into their register, they're not going to see the make a payment button. And that's a trigger. If it's just them, it's likely their lease is over. So confirm that their lease is not over in the system. And then if it is, that's what you got to do. Come in here, how long they're going to be making payments, and make that change. Now, an important step here is to also notify care so that we can update this setting on our end, because we have a corresponding setting that allows them access to their portal, and that default is 30 days. So if you bump this out to 30 days, you're going to be fine. They're going to access their portal for 30 days, and they'll be able to submit payments for those 30 days. Now, if you've got someone that's going to be on a longer term payment plan and be paying numerous times after their lease is ending, and you're going to say 120 or 150 or a year, and you're going to give them that option here, and you change that to a year here, you'll need to let us know, because on our end, we're only, by default, they're only going to have access to their portal for 30 days. So we would want to bump out and allow them access to their portal for another year, however long that may be. And that setting is something we control on our end. But once you've confirmed those two things and those are in sync, they'll then be able to log back in and make a payment up until that deadline.